Prometheus begins on what we presume is sometime in Earth's ancient past. I say that because there are no guarantees that this is the only place where this happens. Ridley Scott first saw science fiction as something that could be taken seriously thanks to Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey, and I'm thinking this opening might be couched in a similar idea. But not a monolith, a man. This is just what I look like when I take a robe off. Not muscular, I mean fish belly white all over, and wearing a diaper. He takes out a cup of black fluid, always good to start creation with your morning espresso, only for it to start breaking his body down, sending him tumbling off the waterfall and turning to bits. But dividing cells soon follow, so that's something. The glass is at least somewhat full now. Skip ahead to the not-too-distant future, and scientists are busy unearthing the entrance to an ancient cavernous find in Scotland. 35,000-year-old cave paintings, but while that's already a great find, they discover a giant gesturing at a group of 6 circles, which are ancient astronauts teaching our human ancestors how to play billiards. Skip ahead 4 more years, and we've got the spaceship Prometheus, where the crew is of course in cryosleep, but still dreaming. We know this because the ship's synthetic, David, is watching our female scientist's dreams. Creepy robot bastard. We naturally get to see these dreams too. She's Elizabeth Shaw, and we gather her father was a missionary and gives her both her faith and her interest in meeting these beings who may have created us. Well, creepy voyeurism out of the way, David heads off to learn some ancient languages, eat his cream of wheat, watch Lawrence of Arabia, ride a bicycle in a circle while playing with a basketball, usual robot stuff. But finally, after years of travel, the Prometheus has arrived. Time to wake everybody up. Want to be beach bod ready when she meets her creators. Unlike the cryo we see in Alien, this earlier version required fluid immersion and you come out looking like dog shit. People take to it in different ways. Captain Janik is just fine, but then again he's powered by the spirit of Christmas, so he has an edge. Others aren't really in the giving mood right now.
I've been asleep 2 years. I ain't here to be your friend. I'm here to make money.
I think he's supposed to not be liked, but I think any introvert showing up at their job without enough sleep would say the exact same thing. Vickers comes out to give a briefing to the members of the team, our 2 scientists from Scotland, Shaw and her boyfriend Holloway, Mr. People Person and the biologist that failed to befriend him, 2 guys gambling on what their job is out here, and the rest, including some lady who looks like a gender-swapped DJ Qualls. They're here to get a special message from the big man himself, Peter Wayland.
If you're watching it, you have reached your destination. And I am long dead.
The king's stinking son fired me. He points out David in the crowd. Generally, obviously, it's a recording. Says the android is the closest thing he has to a son.
And yet he is unable to appreciate these remarkable gifts. For that would require the one thing that David will never have. A soul.
Ooh, not cool. For an android, it's like talking about your history of wetting the bed. Despite Vickers being here and David being like a son, he says that as far as they're concerned, Shaw and Holloway are in charge. And that's their cue to explain the plot. I hate when people peel all the stickers off to solve those. He shows holograms of samples from all over the world, the usual ancient civilizations. Mesopotamians, Mayans, but also Hawaii and Scotland, all showing the image of people worshipping giants pointing at a cluster of 6 shapes in the sky. They think it's a message pointing to this moon, LV-223, from our creators, called the Engineers. That's quite a leap, as the biologist on the team points out. But clearly, Mr. Whelan liked the idea, and the guy is incredibly rich. So if the guy writing you a big fat check says to go find out if the sky is actually a giant walnut shell painted blue by God, maybe you'll get some science out of this fool's errand by sheer accident. Afterwards, Vickers has David bring the 2 to her module, where Shaw begins poking about with a medical pod that performs surgery, so that we know it is there no matter how much it makes her look rude. I know that's hard when standing next to Vickers, so it's really quite admirable to see. We're a little over 20 minutes in, and so far the most likable people are Idris Elba and the evil robot. Vickers is skeptical about finding these engineers, which I can't falter for, and insults our ancestors, which I can. I mean, granted, I wouldn't want to hang out with them, but they live nasty lives paving the way for our comforts. No need for someone who will likely scream if their coffee has soy milk instead of almond milk to belittle people who put up with not having a toilet. Anyway, she says that if by some miracle they do stumble across these engineers, they're to first report to her, not get any ideas of their own. Given Shaw poking that valuable piece of equipment, that's the least unreasonable thing Vickers says. Holloway isn't winning me over either.
Provided your thesis is correct.
Provided it's correct. It's good.
That's why they call it a thesis.
Yeah, I think it's way more generous than the more accurate, fucking absurd rantings of a lunatic mind. The place does have a nitrogen-oxygen atmosphere similar to Earth, except the CO2 is at 3%, about 75 times that on Earth, and that includes the monster truck rallies. So it's close to breathable, but not quite. Still, Holloway is excited.
Right there. God does not build in straight lines.
Well, aren't we here looking for your God? That would mean we're in the wrong place. Holloway gets on my nerves. He's got the douchebaggy aura of someone who'd come to a party at your house, spot one book or movie on a shelf that he doesn't like, and thus take a crap in your toilet tank as punishment. Anyway, they put down not too far away from the line of mounds.
You, boy, you're coming with us.
I'd be delighted.
I watched Alien Covenant again before returning to review this, and I have to say, David's behavior in that movie seems more justified every time I watch Prometheus. As for Shaw...
Expedition security? My job's to make sure everybody's nice and safe.
This is a scientific expedition. No weapons.
Well, what's the point of bringing him along then? He's not going to secure much otherwise. Something happens and all it'll be is your boyfriend with his fly down and his flaccid good intentions dangling out. Well, off they go. At least we have some cool toys on this mission.
This is just one small step for mankind.
You know, one of the many things that baffles me about you is you remain unmurdered.
The geologist reports the structure they're approaching is hollow, so naturally they head inside and release some drones to go flying through the structure to map everything. It seems pretty obvious this was made, as the mere structure of the environment is stripping away the CO2 down to breathable levels. That's good, though we should probably be concerned about airborne pathogens, spores, contaminants in that water.
Copy. Do not remove your headgear.
This idiot is the only person I know that thinks fuck around and find out is a scientific process. Well, he manages not to die in seconds, so everyone else decides it's a good idea to do the same thing. David does so as well and starts poking with things. I trust him more than the doofus scientist, and I know he's evil. It triggers some kind of holographic recreation using particles in the air. They see the engineers go running and follow, only for the last to stumble and get decapitated. That's enough for the geologist to pack it in. Giant dead bodies is not his field of study. Except then the biologist joins him, which kind of seems like that should be in his wheelhouse. Seems like we brought him along in case we found an alien body. We poke the body with science and estimate it's been dead for 2,000 years. When David opens the door, they can grab the head as well. Much more portable than the big stone one on display anyway. All these containers fill the place, and David notes one seems to be sweating black fluid. Might have something to do with the mural on the ceiling breaking down. Something in the atmosphere they let in is now having a chemical reaction. So Shaw gets to work bagging up what she can before they have to leave, while her boyfriend, trying not to be too surprised, stands around being useless. They have to hustle because there's a powerful storm coming this way, full of sand-like particles and static electricity, so it'd be bad to get stuck in it. Well, guess who gets stuck in it? No, not the doofus, but that would have been a good guess. No, it's actually Shaw, though in her defense, the head fell and she went after it. That is the kind of find that is worth risking your life for, I will concede that. After David pulls off a rescue...
So what was that, Ellie? Huh? You could have compromised the entire mission, not to mention almost killing yourself.
You have some nerve, dipshit. You have an approach to safety matched only by Wile E. Coyote fidgeting with a lit stick of dynamite. Meanwhile, the two who tried to head back got lost and are now trapped inside the structure. So while they hunker down, Shaw and the doctor start inspecting the head, only to discover that the hard exterior is, in fact, a helmet. Inside, the actual head looks very human, covered with little spots showing transformation of some kind had started. They decide to try to stimulate the nervous system to see what happens.
I'm trying, it's not been done.
I know he's supposed to be dead, but it doesn't look like he likes it. Just remember, it's all in the name of science.